Your next witness, Mr. Lally?
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth will call Ms. Sara Levinson to the stand.
All this way, just watch your step up. Remain standing and face the clerk.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to execute the court and jury in the case down here should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Just need you to scoot up and pull down that microphone. You talk really loud into it. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Sara Levinson, Levinson.
And where do you live, ma'am?
Canton,
How long have you lived in Canton?
my whole life.
And who, if anyone, do you live in Canton with?
My parents.
Now, do you work there?
Yes,
What do you do for work?
I'm a registered nurse.
And how long have you been a registered nurse?
3 years.
Now, ma'am, if I could turn your attention to the evening of January 28, 2022 into the early morning of the 29th. Do you recall those days?
Yes.
Do you recall what days of the week?
Friday was the 28th, Saturday the 29th.
And as far as that evening of the 28th, what, if any, plans did you have for that evening?
My plans were to go to my friend Brian's house for his birthday celebration.
And so your friend, that would be Brian Albert Jr., is that correct?
Correct.
Do you know how old he was turning for his birthday?
23.
And how long or how did you know Brian Albert Jr. at that time?
We met in high school. He's the grade below me, so I would say now it's been about 10 years, so about 8.
And that his house, as far as 34 Fairview Road, had you been there before?
Yes.
Plenty of times, is that?
Yes.
And on that particular evening, how was it that you came to be there? How did you get there?
My friend Julie's father drove us.
And your friend Julie, is that Julie Nagel?
Correct.
And yourself and Julie Nagel, how long have you known each other?
Middle school, so a little bit longer than how long I've known Brian for.
And you and Miss Nagel, were you in the same grade together?
Yes.
And so her father drives you from your house, picks you up at some point, and brings you over to 34 Fairview.
Correct.
Do you know about what time it was that you arrived at 34 Fairview?
Between 7 and 8 p.m.
When you arrived, who, if anyone, was in the house at Fairview when you got there?
It was Brian Jr., Nicole Albert, Caitlin Albert, and Julie Albert.
And what was, as far as your understanding, what was sort of the plan for that particular evening?
We were all going to meet at Brian's house. His family was going to go out, his mom, aunt, and sister, and then we were kind of going to go from there, whether we were going to go out or stay home. It was up in the air.
And when you arrived there, so at some point did his mother, Nicole Albert, his aunt and his sister leave the house?
Correct.
About how long a period of time was it from the time that you and Julie arrived to the time that Brian's mother, aunt, and sister left?
15 to 25 minutes, I would say.
And did you have any idea where they were going?
No.
Now, as far as during that time after they left, what was it? Do you recall sort of where in the house you were hanging out, or what you were doing?
We were in the family room and in the kitchen as well.
In the kitchen area within the Albert house at 34 Fairview, were you familiar with that?
Yes.
And the kitchen and the dining room, are those sort of the same room, is that correct?
Correct.
And the family room that you're talking about, well, let me ask you this, sort of, with respect to 34 Fairview, there are basically two front doors. Correct?
So, Mr. Lally, I think we can move on from the general description of the house, please.
One last question in regard to that. So the family room that you're talking about, where is that in relation to the kitchen dining area?
If you're looking at the house, it's to the right.
Now, what is it that, at some point in time, did other people join you and Julie and Brian Jr. at the house?
Between 8 and 9 o'clock.
And who was it that came over between 8 and 9?
Courtney Alba, Catherine Duty, Emily Fabiano, and Mary Kent.
I'm going to ask you to spell all of those last names for us, if you would, please.
So Courtney Alba, A-L-B-A. Catherine Duty, it's Kathryn-Doody. Emily Fabiano, the last name, Fabiano, I believe. It might be one B. And then Mary Kent, Kent.
Thank you.
And with respect to Ms. Alba, Ms. Duty, Ms. Fabiano, and Ms. Kent, how did you know them?
I knew Catherine and Emily since elementary school. Mary and Courtney I had known since high school. Courtney I was more of an acquaintance with because she was friends with Brian.
So she was more friends with your friend and you had sort of a mutual friend, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you were at the house on Fairview, you mentioned earlier you were in sort of the family room area. Where else did you go within the house?
Just the family room, the kitchen/dining room, and then the bathroom off the kitchen.
And just so I'm clear as far as what I'm asking, when I'm saying you sort of in the plural, so you in addition to all the other people that you just mentioned, was there any other area of the house that the group of you went at any point?
Brian took either Mary or Catherine, I don't remember which one, upstairs at one point to see their family dog.
Can I ask you to keep your voice up, if you would, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
And about how long a period were they upstairs seeing the family dog?
No more than 5-10 minutes.
And so what was it that the group of you were doing at the house over the course of this evening?
So we were celebrating Brian's birthday. They had gotten calzones. We were eating and then we were drinking.
And in general terms, if you recall, what was the group sort of drinking that night?
Like spiked seltzers. I know Brian was most likely drinking White Claw because that's really all he drinks. I remember one of the other girls bringing Trulies. I'm not sure about the other people, but around that type of stuff.
And do you know how much each of the people sort of had to drink while they were there?
I'm not completely sure. No one was tipping over.
Fair to say that whatever people had, it was sort of commensurate with each other, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, at some point, over the course of the evening, so you're eating, you're drinking, was there like music going or anything like that?
Yes, music.
And if you recall, like sort of how was the music being played?
Through a Bluetooth speaker.
And over the course of the evening, in addition to the people that you've just mentioned, at some point did somebody else come by the house?
Yes.
And who was that?
Colin Albert.
And did you know Colin Albert prior to that evening as well?
Yes.
And about how old was Colin around that time?
High school, like late high school.
And how was it, or how well did you know Colin Albert?
Not very well. Like I said, I'd been friends with Brian for about 8 years at that point, and I know Colin's older brother, Christopher, pretty well. He's my age. I grew up with him, known him since elementary school, so it's kind of like we weren't friends, I wouldn't say, me and Colin, but we were cordial.
So he's a younger brother of somebody that you went to school with?
Correct.
And he was your friend Brian Albert Jr.'s cousin, correct?
Correct.
Now, with respect to Colin, do you know about what time he arrived?
I can't say for sure. Not sure.
Sometime before or after the other Miss Canton, Miss Fabiano, Miss Alba, and Miss Judy arrived?
He was there when Miss Fabiano, Kent, and
Speak up, ma'am.
sorry, he was there when Miss Judy, Miss Fabiano, and Miss Kent were there. I'm not sure if Miss Alba was still there because she left separately from those three.
And you mentioned that you had come over to the house getting a ride from Miss Nagel's father, correct?
Correct.
Do you know how the other women got over to the house as far as Miss Kent, Miss Fabiano, Miss Alba, and Miss Judy?
They got dropped off. I'm not sure by who.
So fair to say there weren't like a line of cars out in front of the house, right?
Correct.
And about how long, with respect to that group that was there, as far as you and the other young women, about how long a period of time were you all at that house?
Two to 3 hours.
So do you know about what time it was that Miss Alba, Fabiano, Miss Judy, and Miss Kent left?
Miss Alba left before the other three. Her boyfriend picked her up, and then Miss Kent, Miss Judy, and Miss Fabiano all left together. I know it was before midnight.
And when they left, was Colin Albert, was he still there?
I believe so.
And you know about how much time or overlap there was between Colin Albert and the other women, as far as Miss Kent, Miss Fabiano, and Miss Judy?
I don't remember exactly.
Now, from your recollection of that evening, how would you describe sort of the mood or the demeanor within the house over the course of those few hours?
Everything was good, happy. We were celebrating. No issues.
No issues with anybody that was there?
No.
Now, after, at some point in time, later on in the evening or in the early morning of the 29th, who, if anyone else, came by, came to them?
So Mr. Albert, Brian's father, Mr. Higgins, Mrs. Albert, Brian's mother, Caitlin Albert, Brian's sister, Jennifer McCabe, Brian's aunt, and then Matt McCabe, Brian's uncle.
Let me sort of break it down and ask you bit by bit. So as far as the order of people arriving, at some point did you learn where they were coming from?
Yes.
And where were they coming from?
Brian's father and Mr. Higgins, as far as I knew, were coming from New York. They were at a funeral for a fallen police officer. And Brian's other family members, aunt, uncle, mother, and sister, they were out in Canton. I wasn't sure what establishment.
And so those people that you described, did they all come at the same time, or did they come in sort of a staggered fashion, or how did they arrive?
Brian's father and Mr. Higgins arrived first, but they all arrived within 5 minutes of each other.
first in reference to Brian's father, Brian Sr. You had obviously met him on prior occasions, correct?
Correct.
And Brian Higgins, is that someone that you had met before, or you had known prior to that evening?
No.
And when Mr. Albert, being senior, and Mr. Higgins arrived at the residence on Fairview, was Colin Albert still there?
I don't remember.
Do you have any recollection of those people being in the same room at the same time on that evening?
I don't remember.
And so, as far as Brian Jr., your friend, his mother's name is Nicole, is that right?
Correct.
His sister's name is Caitlin.
Correct.
And did you know both of them prior to the evening of the 28th?
Yes.
And with respect to Caitlin, how would you describe your sort of relationship with her?
We were friends in high school.
Fair to say that you were closer with Brian Jr. versus Kate, correct?
Correct.
And same question in regard to Colin Albert. Do you recall whether or not he was there in the house at the time that Nicole and Caitlin came?
I don't remember.
And then as far as Jennifer and Matthew McKay, were you familiar with them prior to the evening of the 28th?
I knew who they were. I'm not sure if I've ever had a conversation with them prior to that.
When you say you knew who they were, how was it that you knew who they were?
I knew they were Brian's aunt and uncle.
Had you ever met them before or had any occasion to see them anywhere before that you can recall?
I know I had seen or met Jen before. I'm not sure about Matt.
And same question in reference to, as far as Colin Albert, do you recall whether or not he was in the house at any point in time when the McCabe's were there?
I don't remember.
Do you recall Colin Albert leaving the house at some point?
Yes.
You just don't recall when it was in relation to when the other people arrived from wherever they were?
No.
And do you recall how it was that he left the house?
He got a ride.
You know who he got a ride from?
Objection.
No, do you know?
No.
Okay, next question.
Now, when these other people came to the house, we'll refer to them as the older adults, is that a fair portrayal of them?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Older than the rest of the people that were there earlier than, correct?
Correct.
So that group that came in later, as far as when they arrived, where were they in relation to the house? Like, where were they situated?
We were all in the dining/kitchen.
So all in that same sort of area.
Correct.
Now, at any point in time over the course of the evening, do you recall anybody from that group of people sort of going anywhere else in the house that you saw?
Not that I remember.
And with respect to the house on Fairview Road, you're familiar with where the basement is located in the house, is that correct?
Yes.
And at any point in time in the evening, did you see anybody from that group, either before or after, go anywhere near the basement or go into the basement area of the home?
No.
Now, with respect to the sort of mood and demeanor after these other folks come by, do you know about what time it was that those people started coming back in from wherever they were coming?
12:15. It wasn't that long after it struck midnight.
So sometime after the strike of midnight, these other folks start to come back to the house.
Correct.
And from that period, from 12:15 or so, from that period, about how long was it after that that you were at the house on Fairview?
I left between 1:30 and 2 a.m.
So about an hour and a half or so after they got there.
Correct.
Now, with respect to that hour and a half or so after they got there, how would you describe sort of the mood and the demeanor within the home during that time?
Same thing. We were celebrating, happy, dancing, all that.
Music continued, the drinking continued, correct?
Correct.
No issues or arguments or anything that you observed, correct?
Correct.
Now, within the area of the kitchen dining area, at some point, do you recall where people were? I'm talking later in the evening when the folks come back to the house after midnight. Do you remember where those people were sort of situated around the kitchen dining room area at that time?
Yes.
And could you describe to the jury sort of where they were?
So the dining room table is a square. So, and it was in front of the front window. So in front of the front window where their back would be to the window was my friend Julie Nagel. I was sitting then, I don't know, was that perpendicular? I haven't taken math in a long time. I was sitting here. If the window's here, I was sitting on this side, facing kind of, I could see the front door. And then to my right, Brian Sr. and Mr. Higgins were standing. So they're back towards the kitchen. And Mrs. Albert Nicole was sitting with her back to the front door area. And Jen and Matt and Caitlin, I don't believe were sitting.
And over that course of hour and a half or so after those folks came back to the house sometime after midnight, did you observe any other people walking or coming into the house at any point in time?
No.
Let me ask you this. As far as on January 28th into the 29th of 2022, did you know anybody by the name of John O'Keefe?
No.
And did you know anybody by the name of Karen Reed?
No.
And with respect to either of those people or any other people, no one else came into the house while you were there?
Correct.
Now, at some point in time, your friend Julie, did she go outside of the house?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury what that was in regard to?
Her older brother, Ryan, was coming to pick us up to take us home. So she went out to talk to him prior to him arriving. She said something to me along the lines of Ryan's coming to get us, which Jen McCabe said.
Sustain.
Question. And so, in relation to when the folks arrived back from wherever they were coming from to 34 Fairview, when was this that you had this conversation with Julie about her brother coming to meet you guys?
Around 12:30, give or take.
And at some point, did Julie go outside the house?
Yes.
And did you have any occasion to look outside at any point when she was out there?
No.
And about how long a period of time was Julie outside the house?
No longer than 5 minutes.
And after that, her going outside no longer than 5 minutes and coming back inside, were there other arrangements that were made as far as how you and Julie were going to get home that night?
Yes.
And what were those arrangements as far as what was your understanding of how you were getting home that night?
Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe would drive us home.
Now, Jen McCabe, around that time that Julie went outside of the house and came back in, what, if anything, did you observe her to be?
Her phone was plugged in behind me, charging. She was checking it periodically.
And again, if you could remind the jury sort of what was it that was behind you as far as where was it?
So where I was sitting behind me was a wall. And then behind that wall would be the family room.
And so I guess what I'm asking is, was there something specific that her phone was like resting on, or was it just sort of hanging out of a plug, or how was it positioned?
I think it was just resting on the floor.
And with reference to her phone, was that something that Ms. McCabe came over and looked at any point in time while it was charging?
Yes.
And how many times did you?
I'm not sure, to be exact.
Let me ask you this, was it once or more than once or something else?
More than once, I would say.
And without any reference to anything that was said, was there some conversation that you had with Ms. McCabe during the times that she would come over and check or look at the phone?
Myself, no. In general, I remember her saying someone was coming.
And that someone that she indicated was coming, again, no one ever actually came into the house or was around the house that you were aware of, correct?
Correct.
And so about what time was it that you left the home on Fairview on that particular evening?
Between 1:30 and 2 a.m.
And you left with your friend, Ms. Nagel, as well as Mr. and Mrs. McCabe, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall what kind of vehicle they had or what they were driving on that evening?
Some sort of like large Subaru type. I don't know the exact make or brand, but a large, all I could say was like a Subaru, not a Subaru, not a Suburban. I don't know cars. Like a Tahoe, like a big car.
So like a bigger SUV, correct?
Yes.
And within the SUV that you eventually got into and took a ride home, correct?
Yes.
And if you recall, from within the SUV that you got into, was there, as far as the back seat was concerned, was it 2 rows, 3 rows, or something else?
It was 3 rows.
And where was that vehicle parked when you came out to get into it?
In the driveway.
And when you came out to go from the house to the car, what, if anything, did you observe as far as what was the weather doing at that point?
It was snowing.
And as far as the snow that had come, was there any sort of accumulation on the ground that you saw?
Yes.
And so based on that, what, if anything, do you recall about sort of your walk from the front door to the McCabe's vehicle in the driveway?
So we exited the front door and went down the front walkway to the driveway. As I said, it was snowing. Julie and I were like arms linked, and I was looking down at my feet to make sure I didn't slip.
And why were you looking down at your feet?
I wore shoes that my mother told me not to wear because they didn't have traction, but they went with my outfit, so I wore them anyways. And I knew if I had slipped and fell, she would say, "I told you so." So I made sure not to do that.
And when you get to the vehicle, do you recall sort of who was driving and who sort of sat where within the vehicle?
Yes, so Matt was driving, Jennifer was in the passenger seat, Julie was behind Matt on the driver's side, and then I was behind Jen.
And when you get into the back of the vehicle, do you recall, was there any sort of conversation about, did either Mr. or Mrs. McCabe know where the two of you lived at that point? Do you know?
They did not.
So I imagine there was some discussion as far as where to or what was the address or something like that?
Yes, correct.
Do you recall if that was something that was like plugged into a GPS, or were you just sort of giving verbal instructions about where to go?
I don't remember.
And do you recall as far as the order of who got dropped off first versus yourself and Ms. Nagel?
Yes,
And who got dropped off first?
Julie.
About how far a drive is it from the address on Fairview to Julie's house?
Less than 5 minutes.
And same as far as, so from Julie's house, you then went to your house, is that correct?
Yeah, about 5 minutes, I would say, from Julie's to mine.
So 5 minutes or so from Fairview to Julie's and 5 minutes or so from Julie's to yours.
Correct.
Now, When you get in the back of the vehicle, do you recall any other sort of discussion while you were in the driveway before you left?
So, yes, we got in to the car. Matt forgot his jacket inside, so he went back to get his jacket. And Julie and I were in the back seat looking around. One of us noticed, I remember, a loaf of bread, just a lone loaf of bread in the back seat. We said something to Jen because we thought it was weird. And she said something along the lines of, "Oh, anyone want a peanut butter and jelly on the way?" Like making a joke. So we were looking back at the third row.
And so Ms. McCabe is in the front seat of the vehicle at this point?
Yes,
So she sort of turned to talk to you while you're in the back seat?
correct.
And was she turned towards the center of the car or the window or something else?
To the center.
And if you recall, Mr. McCabe gets his jacket, comes back in the car, and at some point backs out of the driveway.
Correct.
And when Mr. McCabe drives from there headed towards Ms. Nagel's house, do you recall which direction that the vehicle was facing as far as going by the house on Fairview?
So,
Let me ask it probably in a better way.
okay.
So at some point, did you drive past the 34 Fairview Road residence on the way to Julie's house?
Yes.
And when you did so, which side of the McCabe's vehicle was facing the Fairview Road residence? Was it the side that you're on or the side that Julie's on?
The side I was on.
And at the time that you were driving past that, was there a conversation still that was going on in the backseat of the car or with anybody else?
Yes.
And who was sort of engaged in conversation at that point?
Myself and Julie.
And so you're looking at her direction while you're talking to her, is that correct?
Correct.
And as you're driving past the house, what, if anything, does Julie say?
Objection.
Ask it differently, Mr. Riley.
As you're driving past the house, what, if any, conversation were you having with them?
Objection.
All right, so I'm going to see Councilor Tybar on this one issue. Jurors, feel free to stand up.
Ms. Levinson, without respect to what Ms. Nagel said to you in the car, the two of you were conversing, correct?
Correct.
And as you're pulling past the house, she says something to you, correct? Or says something out loud?
Not farther up the street.
And so when you're talking about farther up the street, where was the vehicle in relation to the house at 34 Fairview when she says something?
The house was behind us.
And so, based on what she had said, where does your attention go?
When she was speaking to me, I looked at her. Once she said what she said, I looked the other way to the window.
And at the time that you looked to the window, what was sort of outside the window in reference to 3450? Was any part of the residence still, or the lawn or anything else visible to you at that time?
No,
And so was a neighboring house, is that fair to say?
one of the neighboring houses, yes.
So whether it was the next door neighbor or a couple of houses down, it was past that point, correct?
Correct.
And was there any further discussion that you recall in the back seat of the vehicle between yourself and Julie in relation to that earlier statement?
I asked for clarification.
Did you receive any further clarification?
No.
I may have a moment, John?
Yes.
Nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Giannetti?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
You have lived in Canton your whole life?
Correct.
Graduated from Canton High School?
Yes.
Have been friends with Brian Albert Jr. since high school?
Yes.
I believe you said it's been probably about 10 years now that you've been friends?
Correct.
And the two of you actually went to the junior prom together, correct?
Correct.
You consider him a close friend.
Correct.
You've been to his house many times?
Yes.
You've gone inside the home and you've spent time in the backyard as well?
Yes.
Gone swimming in the pool that they have in the backyard?
Yes.
And in high school, you would hang out in their basement, would you not?
That's correct.
And you know that there's, in that basement, a bulkhead door that leads to the backyard, correct?
I never noticed it.
You're also on good terms with other members of the Albert family.
Correct.
You know his brothers and sisters, correct?
Correct.
Caitlin Albert, Brendan Albert, Kayla Albert, and Jack Albert.
Yes.
You also know his cousins?
Depends which ones, but yes.
Some of them.
Yes.
You know that Jennifer McCabe's daughters are Brian Albert Jr.'s cousins, correct?
Correct.
And you know both of Brian Jr.'s parents, Brian Albert Sr. and Nicole Albert, correct?
That's correct.
And you actually call Nicole Albert by her nickname, correct?
Sometimes, yes.
And what is that nickname?
Coco?
And you know Brian Albert Sr. relatively well, having been over the house so many times, correct?
Depends what you qualify as well, but yes.
Do you find him a little standoffish?
He's quiet.
But in any case, you're comfortable at the Albert home.
That's correct.
And you were at the Albert home on the night of January 28th, going into the 29th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
Got there around 8 p.m.?
Correct.
And you didn't leave until around 2 a.m., give or take, on the 29th, correct?
Correct.
So, again, ballpark figures, if you were there from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m., that means that you spent about 6 hours at the Albert home that night into the early morning?
Correct.
And you yourself never left the home during those 6 hours, correct?
Correct.
You were inside the home the entire time.
Correct.
Were you interviewed by any police officer, state trooper, or other investigator about the events of that night on January 29th of 2022?
On that day?
Yeah, were you interviewed?
No.
What about the rest of January or even February of 2022? Were you interviewed by any investigator?
No.
The fact of the matter is that no investigator connected with this case took a statement from you in terms of an interview until about 9 months later, correct?
Correct.
And that was done at the district attorney's office on October 21st of 2022?
Correct.
Now, that night while you were at the house, you'll agree with me that there were people coming and going from the house the whole night, correct?
I mean, you would have to be more specific.
Okay, so I'm not talking about like every minute on the minute, but during those 6 hours, you saw people come and you saw people leave, correct?
Yes.
But you were not standing guard at the door to take note of everyone who was entering or leaving or the times that they were entering or leaving, correct?
Correct.
You were not, keeping a log, for instance, of when somebody came in or when somebody left.
No.
And when you got there around 8 a.m., you came with your good friend Julie Nagel, correct?
Yes.
Julie's father dropped you off there.
Yes.
You saw Nicole Albert, Julie Albert, Caitlin Albert, and Brian Albert Jr. when you arrived, right?
Correct.
Then Julie Albert, Caitlin Albert, and Nicole Albert left, right?
Yes.
But then 4 other friends of Brian Jr. arrived, right?
Yes.
And you would name them when Mr. Lally was asking you questions before the break, right?
Yes, correct.
So with those 4 friends, with you and Julie and Brian Jr., that meant that at that point there were 7 people in the house, right?
Yes.
Actually, there were 8 people because Colin Albert was there as well, correct?
It depends on what time you're referring to, but yes.
He got dropped off there at some point.
Yes.
And then he was one of the 8 people, including yourself, that you were with.
Correct.
You never saw him walk in the door, did you?
I don't remember.
You don't remember seeing him actually enter the house, correct?
Correct.
But during the night, you actually sat right next to Colin Albert at the table, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And with regard to Colin Albert, I believe you testified, you really wouldn't say he's a friend of yours, right?
That's correct.
He was more of an acquaintance, was he not?
That's correct.
Somebody that you met, but you didn't hang around with, right?
Yes.
You have never been in a hot tub with Colin Albert, correct?
Not that I know of, no.
You never took a trip to Maine with Colin Albert, right?
Objection.
No.
Sustained.
Because going away on a road trip, that'd be something that you do with a friend, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay. And with regard to those 4 friends of Brian Jr. who arrived, your best estimate is that they came sometime between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m., right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. I'm talking about Courtney Albert, Catherine Duty, Emily Fabiano, and Mary Kent. Strike that. You know what? Let me withdraw that question and rephrase it. They left sometime between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m.
Correct.
And you can't be sure precisely when they left because, again, you weren't watching the clock to make note of when people made their exits, correct?
I know they left before it was Brian Jr.'s birthday on the 29th, so I know it was before midnight, but other than that, no.
Right, and that's like an hour span of time that they could have left within, correct?
Correct.
You never saw Colin Albert physically walk out the door, did you?
I don't remember.
And then at some point before midnight, Brian Albert Sr., Brian Higgins, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, and Caitlin Albert all arrived at the Albert home, correct?
Yes, I don't know if you said Matt McCabe, but
And
yes.
Matt McCabe as well.
Yes.
And you would agree with me that Brian Higgins and Brian Albert arrived at about the same time?
Yes.
And that Caitlin Albert, Jennifer and Matt McCabe, and Nicole Albert all came back around the same time?
Correct.
Now, from that point until the time that you left around, and that was around 2 a.m., right? Give or take?
Correct.
From that point until around 2 a.m., the only person who left the house was your friend Julie Nick, right?
Correct.
Your understanding was that she went outside to talk to her brother, Ryan Nagel, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And in addition to not remembering seeing Colin Albert leave, you also did not see Brian Higgins physically leave, correct?
I don't remember.
And you also don't remember seeing Caitlin Albert leave, correct?
No, I don't remember.
You would agree with me that throughout the night while you were at the house, Caitlin Albert was playing music on her phone?
Yes.
There were surround sound speakers set up in the kitchen dining room area?
I don't remember that.
There were speakers though, correct?
Possibly.
So
I don't remember.
your memory is not that Caitlin Albert had a song or songs playing on her small iPhone, was it?
No, it was on a speaker. I'm just not sure if it was surround sound or a Bluetooth speaker like it was previously in the night.
All right, fair enough. People were singing and dancing, right?
Correct.
Pretty much everybody was singing, correct?
Correct.
People were talking.
Correct.
Everybody appeared to be in a good mood and having a good time.
Yes.
And with the music, the singing, the dancing, the talking, the drinking, there was a lot of activity going on in the kitchen dining room area, correct?
Yes.
There was plenty of, to pay attention to with regard to the people that were in that area, right?
Yes.
Brian Jr. was in the kitchen essentially the whole night.
Yes.
Jennifer McCabe was charging her phone on the kitchen island at one point.
Behind it, but yes.
Did she pick up her phone in your presence to make any calls or text anybody?
She picked up her phone. I'm not sure what she did with it.
But in any case, you'd agree with me it was noisy in the kitchen.
Yes.
And the kitchen's in the back of the house.
Yes.
Now, you had seen the Albert family dog, the German Shepherd, Chloe, prior to that day, correct?
Yes.
And Chloe was not a very outgoing dog around people, correct?
Correct.
In fact, your impression was that she was a former police dog, correct?
Possibly.
Right or wrong?
Maybe. I don't know.
While you were in the kitchen with all of the singing and dancing and talking and music going on, you did not hear Chloe bark, correct?
Correct.
You did not hear Chloe growl, correct?
Correct. Not that I remember.
You did not hear somebody get hit in the back of the head with anything, correct?
Objection.
Go ahead, you can answer that.
Correct.
And while you were there sitting, you could not hear what, if anything, was going on in the basement, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay. You were catching a ride home with the McCabe's ultimately, correct?
Correct.
At that time, you believed that you, Julie Nagel, Jennifer McCabe, and Matt McCabe were the last to leave 34 Fairview?
Correct.
So at that time, you believed that Brian Higgins and Caitlin Albert had left before you, correct?
I believe so.
But you didn't see Brian Higgins or Caitlin Albert physically walk out the door. At least you have no memory of that, correct?
Correct.
And when you left, you didn't check every room in the house to see who was still there, correct?
Correct.
You never went down to the basement that night.
That's correct.
And when you left 34 Fairview, the snow was starting to stick to the ground at around 2 a.m.?
That's correct.
But there weren't mounds of snow or snowbanks that had formed, correct?
Correct.
And when you left the home, you could still see part of the red brick of the walkway that leads to the driveway, correct?
Correct.
And when you got to the driveway, you could still see part of the color of the pavement, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you could still see some grass on the front lawn at 2 a.m., right?
I don't remember, but
If I may have a moment.
Yes.
You testified at a hearing on May 11th of 2023, so just about a year ago, in Boston, correct?
Correct.
And neither the prosecution in this case, Mr. Lally and Ms. McLaughlin, or any of the defense team was there, correct?
Correct.
Some other lawyer was asking you questions, right?
Objection.
Sustain, move along with this.
Sure.
please.
You were asked the question, quote, could you see the grass sort of on the lawn? That was when you were leaving. And your answer was yes. Do you recall that question and answer?
I don't recall that.
If I suggested to you that that was the question and answer, would you dispute it?
Objection.
Sustain.
Is your memory exhausted as to whether there was that question of you and that answer given?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Do you not remember whether you were asked that question that I just read and the answer that you just gave?
I don't remember.
Okay. If you saw that transcript, would that refresh your memory?
Possibly.
Page 187, Counsel. May I approach?
Was there an objection? No? Yes, you may.
Thank you. Actually, I'm sorry, I just handed it to you and then took it away. I'm sorry about that. Lines 10 and 11, I would direct your attention. And just read it silently to yourself, please, and look up at me when you're done. I may approach to grab that. Having reviewed that transcript, does that refresh your memory as to what you testified to a year ago?
Yes.
And was that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
With the word being sort of.
Yeah, well, I believe I read
Yes.
the question.
I'm just clarifying, yeah.
But I did read it accurately, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Where was the McCabe's car parked?
In the driveway.
What other cars did you see in the driveway at that time?
I believe the by Albert family, I mean the ones that owned that house.
The parents.
Yes, correct. Their cars.
Do you know how many?
2.
And
Possibly.
where were those two cars parked? Were there, strike that. Were there two lanes in the driveway where cars could park?
Yes.
And which lane, to the left or the right, were the Albert cars, or maybe they were in both?
I believe both.
Both.
Closest to the garage.
Okay, so they were pulled up closest to the entrance of the garage.
Correct.
In tandem, right next to each other.
Correct.
All right. And where was the McCabe's car behind? Which car?
If you're looking at the house, the lane to the left, I believe.
Okay. Now, when you first walked out of the Albert home, you'd agree with me that the front lawn was right in front of you, correct?
Yes.
There were no obstructions blocking your view of that front lawn,
No.
and there were lights on next to the Albert home front lawn, correct?
Correct.
And there was also a lamppost where the front walkway is, correct?
Correct.
And between the two garage doors, there's also a spotlight, is there not?
Correct.
And you would testify that snow had started to accumulate, right?
Correct.
And against that white snow, did you see a black baseball cap?
No.
Did you see a black sneaker?
No.
Did you see a 6'2", 220-pound man sprawled out right in front of you on that lawn?
No.
Did you see 45 pieces of red plastic?
No.
One piece of red plastic?
No.
So you saw nothing unusual on that front lawn as you walked out of that house, correct?
That's correct.
As Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Julie Nagel were walking toward the McCabe car, none of them pointed to the front lawn to direct your attention to anything, correct?
That's correct.
In fact, you would testify that Matt McCabe forgot something and had to go back in the house, correct?
Correct.
Which means he actually came out of the house twice that night, correct?
Correct.
And the second time he came out, he still would have been facing that front lawn, correct?
Correct.
And the second time that Matt McCabe came out, he didn't point at anything in the front lawn, correct?
That's correct.
And then the four of you were in the McCabe car, right?
Yes.
Matt McCabe was driving.
Yes.
Jennifer McCabe was in the front passenger seat next to him.
Yes.
Julie Nagel was seated behind the driver, behind Matt McCabe, right?
Yes.
And you were seated in the second row passenger seat to the right,
Yes.
behind where Jennifer McCabe was sitting.
Yes.
And the car backed out of the driveway, correct?
Yep.
And the rear of the car was then facing towards Cedar Crest.
Correct.
And the front of the car, where you were going to drive toward, would be toward Chapman Street, correct?
That's correct.
Which would have put you driving right past the Albert property line, correct?
Yes, correct.
And you were closer to that property line than Julie Nagel was, correct?
That's correct.
As you drove past?
Yes.
And as you drove past that front lawn, you saw nothing out of the ordinary, right?
I wasn't looking, but yes.
Okay. And we had previously talked about the fact that you were first interviewed by investigators on October 21st of 2022, right?
Correct.
And the investigator that spoke to you about 9 months after January 29th of 2022, you will agree with me, was Michael Proctor, correct?
That's correct.
And almost a year after that, you were visited by two female members of the defense team, were you not?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
My home was.
Okay. Do you recognize Ms. Little seated at council table as being one of those two females?
Okay, I'm going to see it, sidebar.
Is it fair to say, Ms. Levinson, that you decided not to speak to anybody from the defense team?
That is correct.
And you hadn't before you and I just started this discussion, correct?
That is correct.
Nothing further. Thank you, Ron.
All right, Mr. Lally.
Ms. Levinson, with regard to the basement at 34 Fairview, when was the last time that you were in the basement area of the home?
Early college. So 2017, maybe?
That period of time that you were talking about where Ms. McCabe had her phone on the charger and was coming over to check on it, do you recall whether or not Colin Albert was still in the house at that point?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe he was, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, you come out of the house, you were asking questions about the lawn. The portion of the front lawn that you are talking about, as far as you observed, where is that in relation to the driveway?
To the, well, if you're,
Let me ask it a different way. So as far
Okay.
as, with respect to the front lawn area of the home, what part of the lawn did you make any observations of, or did you look at or see it when you were walking from the doorway to the vehicle?
when I walked out of the front door, I went down the steps of the stoop and I looked in front of me, like down, not straight. So it would be the grass that borders the front walkway.
So you weren't looking at sort of the entirety of the front lawn, is that correct?
That is correct.
And when you spoke with Trooper Proctor, was he the only trooper there, or the only state police officer there when you spoke with him?
No.
Do you recall who the other trooper was?
I don't remember the name specifically. It was not like a common last name, though. I know that.
And as far as defense investigators or anybody else coming to your house, you chose not to speak with them, is that correct?
Correct. I was not home when what Mr. Ionetti was talking about. My parents were home, but out of respect, I contacted the defense to tell them the next day, I believe, that I had nothing to have a conversation with them about.
Why not?
I know that legally I didn't have to, and I didn't have anything to say.
Nothing further.
All right, you are all set, Ms. Levinson.
Okay, thank you.